Hey guys, so good to be with you today. I was enjoying being outside, and I thought, I could do this indoors, but I think I would rather just spend a little bit of time outside with you today. It's just so beautiful. I hope you're having fun where you're at. I hope you're enjoying the time, uh, life, enjoying the moment. Something that is really interesting to me is the fact that so many people don't know how to appreciate things. And what I mean is just to stop where you are, value the moment you're in, value the person you're with, value the moment you're in. And it's true. Most people, their idea is if I can get to the weekend, or they'll look back and, boy, didn't we have a great time then? So it's like their life is not being lived where they are. It's either in something that did happen or is yet to happen. But they don't know how to be alive right now. But see, if you're not absorbing the moment right now, then you're not really alive. You're really not. And it's unfortunate. People go through their whole life and they never live. You know what I'm saying? And so it's important that you learn to live where you are in this moment. Be alive right now. I can appreciate the weather. Maybe it's not perfect where I'm at, but I can enjoy what I have. I'm thinking that I'm cutting out just a little bit. I hope that doesn't affect us too much, because I wanted to talk to you about something I think is really important. I wanted to talk to you about relationships and how important these relationships are to your life. And I want to pull up a couple of scriptures. First of all, welcome, all of you. Welcome. I come to you each evening at 7 o'clock, and hopefully it'll be something that can make a contribution into your life. But I wanted to give you a couple of scriptures, something to start with, because I want to talk about relationships today. This is just it's not necessarily a deviation from where we've been, but I felt like I needed to place some emphasis on the relationships. That's the greatest gift that God gives you is one another, the relationships you have. All the movement in your life, although promotion comes from the Lord, it comes through people. And so God uses relationships. I heard it said one time, I really believe it's true. When God wants to bless you, he sends somebody into your life. And when Satan wants to curse you, he sends someone into your life. But all the movement in your life, all blessings come from the Lord. It comes through people, because that's just the way God set it up. The reason he set it up that way is because he doesn't want you going off and being an island by yourself. He doesn't want you being isolated. The value of your life is in connection to the people that are around you. And if you stop valuing the people, the families that stop valuing each other, and sometimes you have to find the value. It's almost like digging for treasure. Sometimes you have to look. You can't find, and that's why people get divorced, or that's why they cease to be around. They run into a little obstacle, and instead of digging into the soil and finding the treasure, they just throw up their hands and quit. And as a result, they jump from one relationship to another, and it never works for them, because sometimes the value in an individual has to be pursued. It has to be cultivated. You could even, in your marriage, you can be married to someone who has value. You're just not seeing it. So therefore, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to dig for that value. You're going to have to find that person and cultivate the relationships that you have in one another. And so I just want to say how important it is that we be together. I pulled up just a couple of scriptures I want to share with you. Of course, all of these but let me just read them anyway. Luke chapter 10 and verse 1, it said, "And after these things the Lord appointed 70 others also, and he sent them out," how? 2 by 2. He never sent anybody alone. It's not good for you to be alone. And so he sent them out 2 by 2 to fulfill what he called them to do. And Genesis chapter 2 and verse 8, we all know this one. God said, it's not good for a man to be alone. That's one of the very first things that he noticed about mankind, was the fact that being alone was not a good thing. Ecclesiastes, you all know this one also in chapter 4, verse 9 through verse 12, he said, two are better than one, good reward for their labor. He said, for if they fall, one will pick up his companion. But he said, woe to the one that falls because he has no one to help him. And so how valuable it is for you to be in relationship with other people. As a matter of fact, let me just say this to you. I believe that this is a season maybe for you to not just cultivate relationships, but maybe to mend some fences that are in your life. Maybe not fences, but mend some relationships that are in your life. Maybe somebody that has been wounded in your relationships. I'm just going to tell you something. It's not reasonable to think that you're going to be in a relationship with somebody and not have a disagreement or something on that order, even a fight, even a separation. But what you got to do is learn how to respond when that happens. Because we should be able to disagree with one another. We should be able to look at one another and say, you are dumber than a sack of hammers, and not lose the beauty of the relationship. We need one another. We do. We need one another. Because the connection that you have to someone else is God's plan. Again, all the blessings of your life, they come through relationships. You remember even the scripture, it said, give and it will be given to you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, shall men give to your bosom. So even in that, God's not dropping something out of the sky on you. Even in that, God uses men or people to cause it to come back to you. And so it's very important. I heard something that I just wanted to share. It's talked about 6 degrees of separation. 6 degrees. And this was created, I think it was 1929. And there was a writer that thought that the modern world was connecting. And, you know, the idea influenced the creation direction of all social media. But they called it 6 degrees of separation, which is the idea that all people are 6 or fewer social connections away from each other. I'm talking about everybody in the world. In other words, there's not a person on this planet, what this was saying, they're only six relationships away from you or fewer. The 6 degrees of separation is the idea that all people, 6 or fewer, social connections, there are only 6 social, if I can say that right, 6 social connections away from each other. And it's like saying, you know one person, and that person knows one person. And basically it's saying that there's anywhere between 1 and 6 away from you. So I think that is a tremendous thought, because that's the plan that God has for you. And I say that to tell you, you need a value. Let me put it like this. Your relationships are taking you somewhere. Relationships will either take you backward or they'll take you forward. One of the two. What makes the difference in the seasons of your life, it's relationships. That starts right where you are. Let me put it this way. You're not 5 years away from your dream being fulfilled. You're just one relationship away. Think about that. I'm not 20 years away from my goal. I'm one relationship. The reason is because my relationships take me someplace. See, you're going to know somebody. That's why many times I tell you, I'm asking you to share. If you would please, if you're listening, that you would take this and push share, because what it does, it connects me to everybody that's on your feed that they don't even know who I am. But what it does is it gives me an opportunity not just to speak to the people on my feed, but on your feed. And so that is the important thing, that you have to understand the value of those relationships. And I'll even throw this out to you. I'm just telling you right now. You need to be nice. You need to be kind, more so than you are. I think people have no clue how many opportunities have been aborted because of attitudes. They got a bad attitude, and as a result, it completely stopped the opportunities from ever coming into their life. Every relationship is a door for your life. And every door takes you someplace. And many times we even discount the door because we think, well, it's not a very big door. It's not a very pretty door. I don't know that I think that much, but we discount the value of that door that may take you someplace from a small door to a large door. That's why it's important. I'm telling you something. It's so important that you learn the value of this. So I'm going to say it again. You're not 5 years away from your dream. You're just one relationship away. One relationship can take you, one connection, one person. And you never know who that is. You never know what one person might do in your life to help move you forward. And that's why it's important that you continually show kindness. Have an open door policy. I mean, I've seen people and they're just cold to everyone. Well, I don't like people. Well, your life is very small then. If you just say, well, I don't like people and that's just the way I am. I'm Irish. Oh, stop it. You're not Irish. You're just carnal. That's what the problem is. People don't want to be kind and nice because they're insecure, they're fearful, and they mask it. How can I say that? They mask it as strength, but it's not strength at all. It's really weakness, because they feel like they've got to beat someone down to lift themselves up. But the relationships, you need to make the decision that no matter who you meet, you're going to show kindness to them, generosity to them. Be kind. And the Bible tells you to do that. He said, be kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God, for Christ's sake, forgave you. In other words, you handle other people the way that God handled you. Well, there's a lot of mercy in that little statement right there. But you need to understand that, because I really believe that you're coming into a season of moving forward in your life. I really believe that you're at a time in your life when you're supposed to be elevated to another level of living, of thinking. But that's not going to happen if you don't have the right relationships that come into your life that help elevate you. And don't be caught up in, I want to say pride. I almost said pride again. But I'm telling you, when people act like that, it's not pride. It's insecurity. It masks it as pride, because that way they don't have to admit that I'm just a schmuck and I'm afraid to say hello to anybody, and I'll reject them before they have the opportunity to reject me. If you can't come to the place that you are big enough to be rejected, well, then you probably won't go very far in life. Somebody somewhere is going to say something that hurts your feelings. But the more mature you are, the less impact that has on you. You don't have to react in such a defensive way. Of course, I did not mean to get into all of that. I'm just wanting you to know the value of the relationships that God has given you, the people around you. I'm going to tell you something. I value your relationship. I do not have words to express to you how important that you are. And I truly believe with all my heart that the way God blesses me is through my friendship. It's very important. So relationships are essential for growth. And it's only in relationships that you find the word discipleship and accountability. Now, boy, that's a new twist, isn't it? Relationships and accountability should be a part of your life. But that's not even possible if you don't have relationships. Discipleship, let me get this said right. Discipleship and accountability should be a part of your life, but that's not possible if you're not open to relationships. You're going to have to be open to people. You're going to have to be open to wash their feet, to serve them, to take the lower seat, to elevate them, to push other people around you. You have to understand how important that is. And it's in a relationships that I find stability and accountability. And now that's why most people won't go to church, is the fact that it means accountability. They've got to be accountable to somebody, and they're afraid of that. But being part of a church means that you are part of a family. You are accountable to someone. You're accountable to show up. You're accountable to give. You're accountable to serve. You're accountable with your attitudes and your words. That's why it's so important. And let me just say it like this, and this is maybe a new thought for you. Friendships are cultivated through need. Now, there's nothing wrong with this. Don't hang up on me here. Friendships are cultivated through need, because that facilitates my opportunity to serve you. See, well, I don't want to be in a relationship with people that are always needy. Well, that is actually the model that should bring relationships into your life. There's a need that they have. I have an opportunity to serve them in that need, and therefore the relationship to serve. It's my opportunity to grow. But what's happened is selfishness has closed the door. Absolutely. Well, what's in it for me? How am I going to turn out? See, they're not thinking about it. If you really want a relationship, you got to give more than you take. And that's not just in the fellow that you watch a movie with. That's in the husband and wife. Any husband and wife who isn't prepared to give more than they take, it's not a 50-50 business deal. That's not what kind of thing you're entered into in your marriage. Matter of fact, it's going to cost you not 50%, it's going to cost you 100%. And anybody that's not willing to give 100%, they will not be successful. And even if they survive by sticking it out, they won't ever experience the fullness nor the happiness that really was intended to be in the relationship. And they become selfish, and it becomes, what about me? I guarantee you the majority of divorces that happen are out of selfishness. That people stopped serving one another, and they're just thinking, you don't meet my expectations anymore. You don't meet my needs anymore. And I'll tell you where you can usually identify selfish people. Selfish people are usually very critical. It's truth. As a matter of fact, I'll even give you a little warning about selfish people. Critical people. Critical people are used by the devil to abort your dreams by separating friends. My dreams reach a new level when I'm with you. We get into a brainstorming thought. Have you ever been talking to somebody and all of a sudden you started bouncing ideas off of each other, and suddenly something came up in your thinking, that's incredible, what a great thought. It happened as you were bouncing things off of one another. But what happened when you get involved with critical people, they never allow that to happen. They're used to abort your dreams by separating friends. Proverbs 16 says, a perverse man sows strife, and a whisper separates the best of friends. So I want to just encourage you to be careful of who's speaking into your ear. People who are always complaining about other people, always have this negative slant about other people. They're poison to your future. And I've rarely seen a home split without trying to steer them in a way that was away from their mate. And misery loves company. It's the truth. And I find that the relationships that you're cultivating are the gateway to your future. I want to say what I said a while ago. You're not 5 years away from your dream. You're just one relationship away. And so it's important that you maybe you should develop a thick hide and a short memory. Not be so sensitive. Are you the kind of person that nobody can say anything to? Maybe they're afraid to say something to you. That's, that I know it's everybody else. Well, sometimes sometimes you have to look in the mirror. And sometimes you have to determine, am I chasing away the very thing that I crave the most, which is the cultivation of relationships and embracing a future, a bright future. But it comes through people. So I just want to encourage you about a couple of things. Number one, you need to cut off complainers from your life, because that's not a healthy thing for you. But you need to look around you and see all of the other things that are pouring into your life from other people. Maybe it's, like I said, maybe it's somebody that isn't as sharp as what you would like, but you never know when that person that is not that sharp is actually connected to someone very important. I remember when I was a little boy, there was a man by the name of Glenn Fitzwater. Good gracious. Glenn was very obese, he was really classed by many as a simple man. However, they really couldn't see that his beauty was actually in his simplicity. He was a beautiful person, extremely kind. And like I said, they might have considered him to be kind of simple. Well, he used to come to our house and practically live with us. I remember my mother used to make hamburgers for everybody. And boy, Glenn was so excited because he'd see how many he could eat. And all that time, Glenn was part of our family and our friend. He was our friend. We really loved Glenn, but we never knew much more about him than that. But as it turns out, Glenn was the brother of Marvin Fitzwater, who worked for President Reagan in the White House. And you never know when somebody gateway into relationships that's beyond your imagination. So I want to just say to you today, change your attitude. Make the decision to be kind. Make the decision to be nice. Think about the people that are in your life and figure ways that you can serve them. You want to help them grow? Serve them. You can speak into their life. As you begin to make the decision to serve someone, then you position yourself to help disciple, to help grow, to help cultivate their gift. Sometimes people have gifts in them that has to be recognized by someone else. You know, I remember when I was in school, I was fifth grade or something like that. And I remember as the school year was over, and one of the coaches came up to me and he said, "Jerry, you have a real," well, I knew I could be athletic in a way, but there was something about him recognizing that in me that released something in me. So as you recognize what's in people, you'll release them to a new level of their life. But you can't do that if you're mad at them. You can't do that if they're beneath you. You can't do that if you think you're better than them and they're wasting your time. You can't do that if you're just an old grouch and nobody wants to be around you. When you recognize and see value in people, you release the treasure that's in them. But it really is the truth. That which is within me, many times it can't just be released because I said, I'm good. I have to have somebody that is my peer or somebody that's over me that sees something in me. And when they declare it, it's like it releases me to another level. And so that's the important thing. You need to be a treasure hunter. I want to encourage you today to find the people around you and consider their value. Consider the treasure that's in them. And call it out. Call it out. I see this in you. I'm telling you, I see this. Because once you see it, this is an important thing for you today. I just felt like I just needed to kind of take a pause. As I've been teaching on the kingdom for the last 3 weeks, I really felt like I needed to take a pause and just talk to you about your relationships. And if you stay mad at somebody, you're not healthy. You're not. So I want to just encourage you today to get healthy and find someone that you can serve. Find someone you can help. Find someone that you can see value in. You know, Jesus did that. He did that, and he changed people's names. You know, it's kind of like Peter. He said, you, Simon, he said, you're Peter. You are a rock, and on this rock I'm going to build my church. He saw things in people. And that's, God sees things in people, and he wants you to see something. What's been on my heart today, and so I just wanted to take a couple of moments, and I just wanted to share that with you, and please let me know what you think, you know, and if there's something, I can certainly do it, because you have value to me. I do not believe that our connection here is by accident. I don't think accidents like that happen. I think that they are called divine appointments and divine contacts. It's a divine appointment where I'm to get together with somebody, and the divine contact suddenly brings me to where I release that which I have toward them. So the relationships you have are the greatest treasure. When I'll say it one more time, when God wants to bless you, he sends someone in your life. When Satan wants to curse you, he sends someone in your life. But don't let the disappointment in people shut down the model and the importance of relationships, because somebody needs what you have, and you need what they have. I pray for you today. I just pray for your insight. I pray those of you that have been hurt, disappointed, discouraged, maybe because of what somebody did or did not do, God will heal that. And in the process, you'll get up and you'll move forward. That doesn't become a tombstone to you. It just becomes a stepping stone. And what do they say? The difference between a tombstone and a stepping stone is how high you lift your feet. That's the truth. Hey, it is. It is the truth. Well, I love you guys, and stay in touch with me. Please push like and help me out by pushing share. That would give me an opportunity to speak to some of the people. If you'd like more information, go to fwcelgin.com. And we've got all kinds of information on there that I think will be a blessing to you. I sure do love you guys. I really do. I'm so thankful for you. I'm so thankful for you. So I'll just plan on checking with you later, and you have a great evening. God bless you.